recording that too? Okay. Okay. We'll call the regular school board meeting to order. Show that all board members are present. First, we need a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Nelson,
Second.
second by Shabilia. Like to hear your voice over that way. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kim, do we have any for open forum? Okay, no open forum. We'll move on to the consent agenda. It's the previous minutes from the December 19th Truth and Taxation hearing, the December 19th regular board meeting, the January 6th organizational meeting, and the January 6th work session. Claims and accounts in the amount of $1,363,072.62. The credit card report, the personnel report, and an MOU for building substitute teachers. Moved by Sixberry. Second by Nelson. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to donations.
I'll make a motion to approve the donations.
Motion made by Shabilian. Second by Sixberry. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Angie, financial report.
All right, good evening, everyone. We'll start out with enrollment. And we actually saw a nice increase from December to January. I think we talked about this last month, that we're seeing increases now after winter break, mainly in Big Lake Online. So we had decreases in some buildings, but a big increase in Big Lake Online from December to January. So we saw a 9 ADM or average daily membership increase from Big Lake Online, and actually Liberty also had gained some students. Our average ADM is our 6 ADMs over our revised budgets, like we're 6 students or whatever over a revised budget. So that's reflected on the graph on the next page. I'll have you keep going, thank you. And actually, this was shown to the city, county, and townships on actually was that last Thursday? Yeah, last Thursday. So I did an update on enrollment and then showed that graph to them, telling them how we actually are seeing increases in enrollment. And so they actually saw the same graph. So Chelsea, for just to kind of show you how this graph works, the yellow line is our budget, and then orange, if you can kind of see that orange line that's kind of curving up, that's where we're at right now. So what that shows graphically is that we are actually above our budget. And the, I don't know if I can see that color. I'm going to be colorblind here. Actually, the blue, is it the blue or the teal? I got to look up there. Sorry, the teal is our current bar graph of our current ADMs. And then we have the last 2 years. So just to kind of let you know how this graph works. If you ever have any questions, just let me know.
The big thing is you don't want the red line to go.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. We don't want that to go below. So, and then keep moving here. We don't have any budget revisions this month. So this looks the same as prior months, no changes in any of our fund balances. But I do have some other financial updates, which I'll go over a review on the next slide. And first of all, I wanted to let you know we do have a new food service director. So Chartwell's hired. Her name is Alyssa, and I hope I pronounce her name right, Alyssa Waxman. And she's going to be here next month because I'm going to do a food service budget revision because we're like almost halfway through the year. And we'll update revenues and expenses. And then she's going to come here and talk a little bit about participation and some programming. And I think Anya, the Chartwell's general manager, might also be here. I'm not quite sure. But so I wanted to introduce Alyssa to you all.
Thank you.
And let's see, a couple other things. I'll go over the governor's budget last, but compensatory revenue, I don't have that on the slide because I just got this information on Monday. But we have a new total. So I think last month I told you we were gonna see a decrease next year of 150,000. The state actually came out with some new reports. And because the compensatory revenue is at a statewide hold harmless, what they had to do is they had to actually add money to districts so that the state, at statewide, was held harmless. So the new report I got on Monday is under current law, they always say it could change, but under current law, we're just gonna see a decrease of 50,000. So that is much less of a impact than way back when I was getting really nervous about that, hearing what was happening with other districts. But, so just a slight decrease in that for our 25-26 budget. And then speaking of budget, the governor did come out with his budget. You may have heard what's in it, but I'll just give you some highlights. First and foremost, I think this is one of the most important areas, he has set aside $30 million in one-time funding for the unemployment, the summer term unemployment. And so it is estimated to cover FY '26, so next fiscal year costs. Nothing beyond that, so we'll see what happens, but at least maybe one more year we'll have funding. He actually has some cuts in his budget, reducing the special education transportation aid. Not quite sure why he's doing that, but reducing it, the formula, so we would only get 95% reimbursed in '26 and then 90% reimbursed in '27 and later. However, in his narrative, when I was reading the narrative, we would recover some of that through the cross-subsidy aid, especially cross-subsidy aid. But yeah, that's about all we know right now, so.
Makes that cross-subsidy less than it was before.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Stealing from Peter to give.
Exactly, yes, you are correct. One of his other proposals is to eliminate Q-Comp starting in FY '27. He has in the budget to change the formula, how the literacy incentive aid formula, how it be calculated, that instead of using MCA's testing data, they would use poverty data. And I actually think that if this holds, I think that would benefit Big Lake because we've got a higher poverty concentration. So, again, remains to be seen, but that was in his budget. He is proposing, so he is proposing on compensatory aid, again, he would hold harmless, like what's been done this year, statewide level, but establishes a working group to make recommendations to how the compensatory revenue is calculated. And then a couple other items, expand uses of student support personnel aid. And then the last two items here, he would eliminate non-public pupil aid and non-public transportation aid, but also the program requirements would go away too. So, yeah, I think Ashley, you and I had a discussion about that could be a little tricky. I think, if that does come to pass. But that is what is in his budget, and I think a new forecast is coming out here, I think in a couple weeks. Is it 2 weeks? Yeah. And so then we might know more, and then we'll see what the House and Senate, I guess if the House ever reports, we'll see what they come up with in their bills also. So with that, I don't have anything else. Unless you have any questions for me.
Any questions for Angie?
I just wanted to thank you for going to the Joint Powers meeting.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Helping give that presentation on our behalf to help educate the other
Yeah.
government entities. So
Yeah,
thank you for
you're
doing that.
welcome. Actually, I think I think it went well.
I do too.
And
I do too.
try to keep it high level, try and make school finance, I don't know, interesting is the right word, but.
It was a very interesting presentation. It was riveting.
Yeah.
But thank you for going.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So we just need to approve the budget, or, no, there was
Just
no
approve the
vision.
financial report.
Just
Yeah, there's no budget
Okay.
revisions, so, yeah.
I will make a motion to approve the financial report. Second by Hancock, sorry. It's been a long week already. No, you did last time meeting too. I know, new meeting. I know, I had to make a little note. Any other discussions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. TJ,
All right, so I've got some bid results from our insurance claim for the hail damage from 2023 for you to approve tonight. The first one will be for the 2025 Building Envelope Improvements Project. These are the bid, this is the bid tab. There was one error of roughly $90,000 on base bid line item number 4 for the low bidder. I've got the letter attached in the minutes, but I've got it in my recommendation letter as well. So that total actually comes up to, for that one, $548,259. And it was an error due to a scaling error by our consultant that had made the roofing bid specs. So we didn't want to hold them accountable for our error. So we accepted it and they were still the low bid. So this is all funded through our insurance claim. So I'll just kind of go through because this will be, well, it's technically just 2 companies that we'll be contracting with, but there are multiple contracts here because we did have multiple line items. So Independence Elementary School, approved contract with Jackson and Associates for the amount of $366,000 for base bid line item number 1. Approved contract with Jackson and Associates for the amount of $194,000.00 for base bid line item 2. That's for Liberty Elementary School, copings and counter flashings. And then approve contract with Jackson and Associates for the amount of $389,000 for base bid line item number 3, which is the middle school standing seam roof replacement, copings and counter flashings. And then approve a contract with Granite City Roofing, the amount of $548,259 for base bid line item 4. That is for the high school standing seam metal roof, as well as the copings and flashings, counter flashings around the perimeter of the building. And then for the maintenance shop and graduation shed, approve a contract with Jackson and Associates for $324,000. That is base bid line item number 5. And then for the main campus outbuildings, so this is some of the batting cages, not batting cages, I'm sorry, dugouts and some of the other little ancillary sheds, replacement of some shingles and fascia and siding items. Those outbuildings, that is approved contract with Jackson and Associates for the amount of $78,000. That's base bid line item number 6. I think there's about 10 different buildings that they'll be working on that one. And then the concession stand and fourplex, those are the newer buildings out on the main stadium with the blue standing seam roof. Approve a contract with Jackson and Associates for the amount of $147,000. That was base bid line item 7. So after reviewing all these with our consultant, I recommend you approve these. And I've been working with the insurance company. This was a little bit over the original budget, but my next one has good news because it's under budget. So, any questions?
Do we need to approve them individually, or can we approve it as a package?
Should be able to accept the bids as a package, correct? Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we accept base bid line item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 for a total projected expense of $2,046,259. Sorry, $2,046,259. Am I saying that right? Sounds wrong as I say it. Anyways, as proposed by TJ. Did I cover it?
Second. Yep. Motion made by Sixberry, second by Brown. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. And you're up on the next one too, TJ.
Yes, so our next bids were opened yesterday. Tuesday, January 21st at 2 PM. We had the bid opening. We did have a very good bid day. We came in bid under what I had projected, and within our budget. And we will be under that $3,010,000 and some odd dollar amount that the estimators had originally given us. So we should be in pretty good shape there, for our insurance claim. So they should be happy with us. Centris Soda was the low bid overall on all 4 line items. So it'll be for the high school, line item number 1, $195,000. For line item number 2, Big Lake Middle School, this is all the exhaust fans and all that sort of stuff. So at each of the buildings, $51,700. Base bid line item number 3, which is Big Lake Independence Elementary, that is $76,000. And base bid line item number 4, Liberty Elementary fan replacements, $98,700. So I think we were a little bit over $421,000 total for everything. So a really good bid day. I was expecting somewhere around that $500,000. So I was very surprised, especially when we read the first one, which was Corvell, because I opened them in alphabetical order. And the next one was almost half. I was like, wait a minute. And McDowell was low, they were low on at least one. They were really close on a couple of them. Centris Soda, they're looking for work, is my understanding, is they're kind of a little bit hungry. It's been a little bit slow for them. I think they want to keep their people busy, so. When I called them, they were pretty excited because they were hoping to get this project to kind of keep their people busy, and they want to start on it right away, and they had the shortest construction days as well, so they want to bring kind of a big crew down and knock it out, so kind of excited that we'll be getting it done right away, and we'll be putting all new exhaust fans on the building, which should impact actually some of our energy as well, because the fans that we're putting on are going to be much more energy efficient than the current ones, so it's kind of a bonus for us. So some people get excited about a new roof and getting a new warranty. I get pretty excited about energy efficient fans, so, because they're gonna be low maintenance. So I recommend approving a contract with Centris Soda for all 4 line items.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Centris Soda for line items 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, and I think actually,
Do you have a total? Or
I do, I'll bring it right up here. It is,
for a total of,
no, I don't.
no,
I don't have one.
a total of 426. Okay, thank you for doing that math for me.
I can grab it here for you, actually. Because I
Only
should have
if we
put that
need
in
the
there.
official. I can list them off. For 195,000, 51,700, 76,000, and 98,700.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made by Shabilian, second by Brown. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, committee representative update reports. Does anybody, do we have any meetings? Oh. Oh,
No,
I won't go too far if you don't want me to.
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead, TJ.
All right, so
you.
I believe it was Monday, the 13th, so a little over a week ago we met.
Yeah, the night the Vikings lost.
The night of the loss.
What I remember.
I know it was painful for some. I've been getting let down by them for a long time. I might as well have them come to my funeral and let me down one last time, right? So I had to borrow that joke from somebody.
I like it.
That's a good one.
It was actually from a gentleman I've watched a couple of times in some of our professional developments at Welcome Backs. So,
We
nice
know
bike,
you
Mr. Nice
listen.
Bike. I can't think of his
Oh,
name
yep.
at the moment. Yep,
Yep.
Sharon Brock.
I've heard him speak
So
before.
Mark Sharonbrock. So no, we met, we went over the hail claim. At that time, we only had the results from the metal copings and standing seam roofs. And then we discussed the current bond project's progress. We're going through the middle school, trying to get that project out to bid hopefully here this early spring, so that way we can get that constructed for the renovations of the media center and some updates to their special ed spaces over the summer. And then we went over the bond budget, which right now we're projecting right around a $450,000 surplus at the end, as long as we can keep the middle school project within budget, which will help allow us get kind of our final scoreboard hopefully done. And then also maybe have some money to set aside towards, we've got some windows and tracks. So we kind of went over kind of the big needs of the district once, you know, that were not necessarily part of the bond because we had to make adjustments due to inflation. So hopefully, and you know, a lot of those savings that we have there are due to kind of the economic environment. We were able to get those bonds at a very low rate, and then interest rates went up. So we've got about $1 million, 63,000 and change that we've earned in interest on those bonds during the construction process. So yes, and then we also discussed kind of just some potential partnerships with Softball Association. And I met with them some more today because we kind of dug into it some further. And there's some further implications, but I told them, you know, we still want to partner with you. We just want to make sure that it's done safe and to where it doesn't, you know, cause maintenance issues in the future. So we're going to work with them on kind of some of their list of items that they want to get done, and we're working on getting prices for some of their other projects as well. So.
And the key to that, I think, is, like, the key to that with, like, working with those associations is the communication part. And so I think it's good that it's happening now upfront so that you can work that out and figure it out. I mean, that's
Rather
the
than
thing
having
to
them
do.
show up with shovels ready to go.
Or be frustrated, you know what I mean? There's a lot of planning involved, and so really getting those associations to understand the planning and like the time it takes up front to do those projects is important, and so I just appreciate you putting that effort in up front.
So, yeah, they'd like to put in some pitching warm-up spaces, and then also they're looking to hopefully help us with maybe adding another batting cage at the varsity field, and then also looking at some fences for the practice field, so that way it could be a little bit more usable. Right now, there's a practice field in between the fourplex and the varsity soccer field, and it doesn't have any fencing along the baseline. It only has just a backstop. And even when teams are over there warming up before, let's just say, a varsity game, they get a lot of balls rolling off over towards kind of their spectators and whatnot. So that would kind of help alleviate that. And then they could also use it for maybe some lower level, like 10U games, if they had some more fencing there. So that way they could actually put portable bleachers or benches over there for the team to sit as well. So it'd make it a lot safer. So we're looking at some of those options as well, because right now there are some issues just with trying to put in the pitching warm-up in the fourplex. I met with some of the other groups, and with our irrigation and everything, it's just not going to jive too well. So we got to look at how we can maybe in the future work out kind of some changes and what that impact is going to be in cost. So, but yeah, and we actually just met with them to kind of go over it before this meeting. So, and that went real well. So they're hopeful to kind of get some, at least the items knocked off their list if they can fundraise enough for some of those items. So I think that was pretty much a summary of it.
You've got a light summer.
What's that?
You have a light summer.
Well, maybe. We'll see.
He's like, in your opinion.
You got the middle school project.
I don't know. Depends on who you ask.
Thanks for turning the heat on at midnight, too.
Yes, thank you, TJ.
Anytime.
Thank you, TJ. Did anybody else have any meetings?
We actually had reps negotiations last night, our mediation with SEIU.
Yep.
So much fun.
And we were here for, it sounds crazy, but 15 hours. But we were able to get.
They were done at
TA,
12:45.
So we anyway, so that was. a
Tentative
rep.
agreement.
It was
Yep.
a great
It was
mediator,
really
great
good.
session. I felt like it progressed nicely, and we're still kind of hammering out
Got
some of
all that too.
the details in terms of being a summary and whatnot. You'll hear more about that later. I'm kind of
It was-
speaking on your behalf.
Nope, the summary is, you know, we have a closed session scheduled to go over
Review
the
details.
negotiation process. But as of now, it was a positive session and progress was made.
Okay. Alexa's report.
Well, actually, I think before we do that,
Okay.
should we talk about MSBA?
Sure.
Let's-
Oh.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
MSBA conference.
Yep.
So I'll just kind of
Yeah,
kick
go
it
for it.
off. So Chelsea, Ashley, and I went to the MSBA conference last week, and it was good. And-
I was sick.
And yeah, Tanya was supposed to go, but she was sick. Every year, I know.
No, I've gotten it every year.
I know, she does.
Again.
There, don't you?
No, he gets
I
sick
get sick there.
usually.
I get sick there.
Yeah, we switched
Apparently.
this year.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way to do it. That way everyone can make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I asked Ashley and Chelsea just to kind of share a couple highlights, and I'll share mine really quick. So Chelsea and I had the opportunity to sit through phase 1 and phase 2 training, which is kind of the introduction to being a new school board member, and I thought it was really nice. I always, even though I've been to that presentation probably 600 times, I still learn something. I'm exaggerating, but I learn something every time, and I think it's really good. And it was also nice to get to know Chelsea, whether we were having lunch or just discussing things in between during breaks and whatnot. So it was a good session. Then I also had some really good conversations with our vendors. I know I had a lengthy conversations with Ellers, Jody, and Matthew, as well as Robert from Wold, and I kind of made my rounds to other people. Ran into Alan Berg, common name, so he's all in. It was him. Yeah, right, yeah. So ran into him, and he was sharing with me the ups and downs of his new role.
Superintendent at Ray Tech.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, it was nice to see people and do that whole vendor walk. So, but yeah, those are kind of my highlights.
All right, well, like Tim said, wealth of knowledge. So Tuesday night and all of Wednesday, but very well organized. I kind of, I think, maybe went in with some high expectations, and I was like, okay, they surpassed my expectations, so they did a good job. And like I said, I learned a ton. The main thing was to really drill Angie on finance and make her job harder. No, I'm just kidding. No, so like fund balance, right? And then just like pay attention to policies that start with the 200 number, pupil counts, just like the basics, I guess. But I have my fun packets and binders that I'll be studying. I'm not an expert by any means. And then let's see what else. So then yeah, like the vendors, the round table discussions, they were okay. I honestly, it was more like I have 10 seconds till the next one starts. I'm just gonna pick this one that's to the right of me and just sit down. So I ended up at communication strategies. So I took a little flyer for us to improve communications in the district. Sign me up, I guess. Why not? And then the other one was board book. So I learned how to take some notes and reference different things. And then what was
Probably ahead of a lot of us then.
yeah. Oh yeah, the keynote. There were so
Motivational.
many to pick.
Yeah.
And it started out good. Didn't end very good. I think I got a little political at the end, so.
Yeah, it did.
Keynote. I think a lot of them did, to be honest. But, so, yeah. Anything. Oh, and honestly, I think that the big takeaway though with that was just sticking to policy, right? So like, how are we going to protect ourselves, right? But we're also like in this weird dynamic of our world today too. So I think we kind of fast forward thinking on like AI technology and where are we there and let's get ahead of it. I don't know, maybe.
But how do you do that? Well, I went to a workshop trying to learn more about what we need to do about the whole AI thing.
That's
And
what you did.
I did, and it was like a huge letdown because it was like, we need to have a
No one has
robust.
an answer.
Right, no, they just flat out said, no one has an answer. They just were like, you need to have a robust data protection and a strong IT department and cyber insurance. And I'm like, yep. And it was like, that was kind of what they had for us. So, and I'm like, and model policy, nope. And I actually had a good conversation with someone from code.org at the vendor fair about, and I'm like, AI policy, and he's like, yeah, no one wants to touch it because we don't want to stifle creativity. I'm like, I understand that, but we also have to set high expectations for our students to do their own work. So let me know when you get something. So but it was kind of an interesting back and forth. So yeah, I did one on kind of some AI concerns. It ended up having more of an IT focus than I intended. It kind of was billed more as a general, but I went to a good one about utilizing the SLEDS data better, or, you know, more effectively. So there's a system in place to monitor kind of our post-graduation data of our students. And I've kind of looked into it before, but it was nice to sit down and just get a little bit more clear understanding. There was a couple things I'd tried to access before that hadn't been able to get into, and I was able to get the contact information to open that up. So I thought that was worthwhile. The legislative advocacy, so our friends in St. Michael Albertville, they put on a workshop on legislative advocacy. They are really trying to lead the charge in motivating people and how to connect, you know, just citizens of their district and ours to the legislative process and getting involved, the importance of that. And then MSBA gave a legislative update as well. Kind of leads me into my legislative update because it is officially the legislative season, and it's interesting. So it's interesting start. So the House is very uncertain. Half of the House has yet to report, and despite that, committees are in process, but it's very unclear if that will all be redone, what that means. So the House is kind of an aside at the moment. Senate is underway. They have a power sharing agreement that so far seems to be going fine. I do highly, I mean, for people that really enjoy this kind of thing, I do highly recommend the Senate Education Policy Committee that happened on the 22nd. They had a long list of speakers, of superintendents throughout the state, and they just did a really good job in little 4-minute increments of summarizing district concerns with all the mandates that were put into place the last session and how looking forward. And I like I said, I was just really impressed with different size districts, different people that may, in, you know, different contexts, might have very, very different ideas about how to approach an issue, but the overall message was, no matter where you are, what happened last session was not all it was sold to be. And so the big takeaways that was like everyone mentioned was the summer unemployment and the upcoming paid family leave. Both big issues. Anoka Hennepin had actually figured out that only for those two things, assuming that after 26, it's not covered, for only those two things, we would need 2% on the formula solely for those two things. That doesn't count. But, you know, I mean, I just think that that's important for people to understand that it's only 2 of the 63 mandates that they put into place, in addition to all of our other expenses, would need an additional 2% on the formula. So that's just something for everyone to be aware of. And I'll try to bring you something more tactile that we can maybe make a resolution or, you know, to help advocate for our district budgetary needs down at the Capitol once things get going a little bit better. And then Angie covered the governor's budget, which I had written down too, so.
I just want to give a quick update on Right Tech, if that's okay. So we met with, our last board meeting was very much around meeting with Dan Bittman, who is representing Ray and Associates. He does a really nice job. He really does. I'm very impressed by him. So he interviewed most of the ad hoc committee, which I was on the committee, off the committee, back on the committee. So I got interviewed. So he also did surveys, both district and community. So most of those are in. The job postings are up, and then we are getting together January 28th for an additional meeting to review the results of all those things and continue to progress forward. So that's the plan right now. Then we'll provide input and feedback as a board and go from there. But I just wanted to give everybody an update. So we are progressing in that positive direction there. So.
Amber, how many kids are there? Do you, any, no?
I would have to look at a report. Like, I could get you those numbers, but I honestly can't tell you because it's so much. It's broken down by district too, so I don't really ever look at it in numbers.
Got it.
And it changes like even monthly, especially with like special education, you know, or the ALS, like, yes, the learning center, and then the, yeah, I want to say it's like around, yeah, maybe she can pull it up. I don't want to give like the totally wrong number.
I just wondered.
Yeah, I mean, we do have
always get it sent out.
yeah,
to
we
us,
do have a
too.
pretty good participation rate there, but, I mean, I will say, like, we do offer a lot of really good programs right here in Big Lake. So some schools do need Right Tech more than others, but it hasn't always been that way for Big Lake. I mean, I think it's up and down depending on programs that they provide. I mean, it's hugely beneficial for all, and actually, you should come and tour it since if you haven't seen it yet.
I think
That'd be
maybe we
really
can
good for
do
you.
Another work session when I get to.
Yeah, that would be a good idea too. Do another work session there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that would be really great because then you'd get an opportunity to see it. I think the work that goes on there is amazing, especially for kids that need like hands-on.
Give the options or opportunities for like high school students to go and tour it?
Oh yeah, every year, every.
During the school day, or do they have to go outside?
Yeah, so it's set up for each school district to go through tours, and they're all currently set. They do have dates set for all of the kids to go in and tour that want to see that have interest. So that's already been done. Yeah, yeah, they offer it to the high schoolers. So the principal there really works with the counselors here on that. Yeah. Yeah.
One thing before I forget, Stargate is an initiative, and don't quote me on this, it's like the Disney movie,
Yeah, I saw that.
And like, I was thinking yesterday, they're gonna try to do something for schools.
For schools within that program. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. There's a lot coming out.
Any other committee stuff? Okay, on to Alexis, our student representative report.
Hello. So I have a little bit from December and then I'll get into January. So for the start of December, Big Lake High School Choirs, Jazz Band, Wind Ensemble, they all worked together and they had a holiday concert. I wasn't able to go, unfortunately, but I heard it was like really amazing.
It was awesome.
Yeah, a lot of the students were very proud of how it went. Yearbook hosted for the first time their own Spirit Week, so they set up dress-up days, planned their own pep fest all by themselves, and it was a big hit. A lot of students loved it. They revealed this year's high school yearbook cover, which a lot of students were very impressed by. Moving into January, Epic hosted their New Year's event instead of previously Cookies and Cocoa. We shifted it a little bit because of that Spirit Week and giving them more of like a healthier mindset going into the new year, like really push into the New Year's resolutions and things like that. So we gave them a chance to have fun after school at the high school cafeteria, enjoy some cookies, milk, hot chocolate, some games, and a few raffle baskets, which I did not win, unfortunately, but I did try. This Monday on the 20th, the Big Lake Dance Team hosted their 3rd annual home invite, and they got to take home first place in every category, and they worked so hard and they were so proud of themselves. And then this year's one-act competition of performances are officially underway. Big Lake Cast and Crew worked hard last Saturday, winning one-act festival star performance. So, like, basically all the directors vote on their favorite performance, and they won festival. And then they also had a few members of Cast and Crew win various awards. A few members were Kyla Gozuish, Zachary Stagora, and Alex Bell, all receiving acting awards. And then student director Maddie Sally also won a tech award, plus multiple honorable mentions from their cast. And then lastly, I previously mentioned at my last report, Student Council Food Drive. It ended in December. We had a total of over 160 items donated to Hornet Hospitality, so it was a huge success. The top class that donated the most points or the most items was Miss Hemsley's class, and they were rewarded with hot chocolate and cookies during their advisory time. And that's my report for you guys this month.
Thank you.
Thank you. I couldn't find Big Lake numbers, but I did look. I mean, I can get that for you later, but just real quick, I did look quick. There's 633 at Wright Tech, and then in Wright Academy, there's 87. 79 of them are high school, and 3 are middle level. And I can get you Big Lake. I have to look back through because it changes monthly.
It does.
So, and the tours were all for January. So every school was set up for a tour in January, including Big Lake. Yeah.
Yeah, if there is a tour, piggyback on or
Yeah, well,
a couple times.
I'd like to do a work session there. We're
Yep.
due for that, so work that out.
Now it's your turn.
All right, Madam Chair, members of the board, I know you really enjoy listening to me talk, but I'd like to, I'm not supposed to laugh at that. No, I'd like to yield my time. Actually, I do know that we have some guests in the audience, and I think the intention was for them to talk during public forum, and they were just a little bit late for that. So I guess if it's okay with you, Madam Chair and members of the board, there is just, I'm not sure who's going to speak or how that's going to work, but is it okay if we have them step up and just take a few minutes and talk about what you're here for, so.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Madison Hemauer. I'm one of your 2024-2025 Big Lake Junior Ambassadors. I'm here because I fundraised for C-Pens for dyslexic students because I wanted to help dyslexic students because I'm dyslexic and some people can't get like their help. So I just wanted to help some kids. It's so everyone in our group over there, we all get a different service project, and I chose this one because it had a really like deep thing in my heart, and I just wanted to like help other kids that need it.
Can I ask about your shirt?
It's my mom's favorite show, and we thought it was cute because they always start with the same thing. So
What's it say on there?
That's where,
So the one where it's a different ability, not a disability. Okay,
Mhm.
very nice.
that's awesome. That's cute.
And for the record, you approved that donation today during the donations.
It was in the
It was in the
donations.
donations, yeah,
Yeah.
so.
over $1,400.
Very
So
nice. Good job.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
All right, I don't know how I can.
Yeah, no, you're not
I
gonna
don't know how I
follow
gotta
that. You
follow
talked
that,
that
so
one.
that's really good stuff. I just have just a couple items for you today. One is just a quick calendar update, just an update on that. We do have a couple drafts that we're working on, and we're super close to meeting with, I'm trying to meet with the BLEM, because we have that MOU in their contract where we would meet with them and discuss the calendar. Hoping to meet with them by the end of the week next week, which means if everything is on track, we should have potentially a calendar before you for the February board meeting for approval. So I know that we do sometimes get calls asking us for calendars, and I think families are planning vacations and they're trying to be responsible and want to know what's going on. So we're working on it, but it is a bit of a process. And as we mentioned last month or earlier this month, we do also have to consider the literacy training days and whatnot too. So working through that. So I just want to do that. I also wanted to acknowledge just a couple things here because it is my favorite part, which is the From Around the District. I wanted to send a big thank you to Minda and her crew because on yesterday, right? On yesterday.
on yesterday.
So yes, it was yesterday, right? I'm sorry, I'm a little off. So, but yesterday we had Professional Development Day. And when the cold weather moved in, I remember talking with Minda earlier in the day, and I said, we're adults, it should be fine, it's not gonna be a problem. Well then, lo and behold, at about 6:20, I got a notice from National Weather Service that they had expanded the extreme cold. And so I called Minda, and Minda was like, oh, did you see that? And I said, I saw that. So we did a quick pivot, and from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. created a virtual so our staff could remain home because it was really cold yesterday morning. And we did a virtual PD day that was good. I don't know if you want to share any highlights or anything, any thoughts on it?
There was so many good highlights. So it was a matter of contacting the principals, getting them to first like, yeah, we can do this. And it was just no time at all. They were like, yep, we can do this. And so everybody just diving in, getting a hold of, we had presenters. We had one presenter who flew in from Texas. And so she sat from a hotel in St. Paul and presented virtually to us. We kind of felt bad about that.
Yeah, but she probably appreciated not having.
Because this is a
Probably
Coming from
did.
Texas. she's
different
like,
level
"I'll
of
save my
cold
job."
that they're used to. This is
Yes,
different.
because she was like, this is very different than they were, yes, so, yeah, we just had a lot of great things. We had math leadership happening, we had ELA presentations happening, we had science leadership happening, we had our literacy training happening, which all got flipped over to virtual, so a lot of people worked really hard Monday night. I just want to say the team really dug in and made presentations and did a lot of things, and I was able, I think I popped into 13 different PDs bees during the day, and my heart was so full to see just how dedicated and passionate our teachers and our staff and our principals and everybody was. And it ended up being this great, wonderful, warm and cozy day.
So, and
Yeah, it was good.
And on top of all of that too, because after she was calling principals, I was calling John and saying, John, make sure the tech works. He said, we're good. Google Plus, we're in good shape. We can handle 1,000 hours or something.
We're gonna have
So
300 people that are gonna be calling you.
Calling
trying to
you.
get on the devices tomorrow.
we had that. I had TJ working on the heat, and it was good. It was a good day. So it was. We stayed warm. Nothing happened, right, TJ? No. We're good. We're good. Nothing froze up, so we were in really good shape. So again, through these extreme temperatures, it was an interesting day. But I do credit Minda and her team. That was a lot of work, and that was a big pivot. And I think they did a really nice job. And speaking of cold, I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you to all those people that are out doing bus duty and greeting and welcoming those students and families every day for a parent drop-off. Oh my goodness. And that is like an everyday thing. So I can't list them all because I don't even know who they all are, but I know they're out there every day and we count on them and they keep our kids safe. And also they're always a smiling, well, you can't see through the face mask.
Oh, you
but
can. You
it's-
can.
You can. You can see it in the eyes.
It's so nice.
They're
I mean,
smiling.
you go there in the morning and they do.
Yep.
They, even with the heavy mitten, they're giving kids a high five.
Yep.
You can see.
Or it's just been frozen.
Yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. But you can see their eyes. They're,
Mustache is frozen.
they're doing a great job of just keeping that enthusiasm for the day. So.
Absolutely. So that's a big thing.
I was hoping I could just jump back to your PD day.
Yeah.
I actually heard from members of your staff saying like how appreciative they were and how well it went. And I was surprised, like as a board member, it's so nice to get those like positive comments and like how much they just, I think they were just happy to be home, one thing. But they really expressed it. Like they were, thank you for thinking of their safety too. Like we always think about the kids, but the staff is important too. And like how well it went given the circumstances. So I just want to throw that out there. I had several people just reach out to me and I was like, I mean, that's just good to hear. So nice work.
It was probably nice for you to be able to pop in places easier.
She was busy. She was telling me, how am I going to get to all these places?
I'm the one that's gonna have to be running between all the buildings. The teachers just have to come and go to one building. I'm the one that's gonna be running around. And then when I flipped it over, I was like, well, this is kind of nice. Bye. Next meeting. Bye.
You may change the
Although I
format.
closed no rings yesterday.
Sat there, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll just move into some things calendar wise. We do have next Thursday, you and I have the governing board for this special ed co-op. Couple of announcements. Kindergarten registration, February 4th. And I think that's been on Facebook and I think the invites have been sent out. So February 4th from 4 to 8. It's always just a nice night to be there to welcome young families and even older families, just to come on in and they usually serve a hot dog or something, I'm not sure, but it's kind of fun. They go through and those kids are most of them are so excited, most.
Do we have like projections for kindergarten?
We don't have solid projections yet, but that does come into play. We were just talking about some sections and starting that budgeting process, so that'll be coming forward. So.
Is anybody going to kindergarten?
I'll be there.
I typically do, but I have write tech that night. So
Yeah,
unless something changes.
They
I have
should
it on
be
my
there.
I have it on my calendar to go.
It'll be like
Okay.
the first year I've actually missed it. But.
Well, you all are welcome, and I'm usually stationed right at that lunchroom corner, because that's where everybody goes. So
I
say
always
hi.
like to get the opinion of the kindergartners, their first impression of the meal in
The
the
meal.
cafeteria.
Yeah.
The wheat buns last year, not a big
Not-
fan of the wheat hot dog buns.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny to pop into the
It is.
tables.
It is. It's a great night. It really is. So it's from 4 to 8 on February 4th. February 6th. This is and I'm not sure. I went, and I think it was the first time I went. It was the high school arts night. I mentioned that because they had a really cool thing where they had some pottery bowls. You could buy the bowl and fill it with popcorn, kind of thing, because there was a basketball game going on at the
Last
same
year,
time.
that was last year, and then they sold out of bowls.
I
I
got one.
went to go
My
get one
wife
and they
loves
were out
that
of
bowl.
bowls.
So I'm just gonna say they've got some cool art displays going on, and that's at February 6th. But I didn't write the time down.
February 6th, okay. Is it at night?
It's at the
Is
high
it during
school.
the game?
It's at the, during, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll update this and I'll send it to you through my weekly, just so you're aware of it. But it's really a neat night.
Is that on the calendar somewhere? I was looking at our calendar and it like the activities calendar pulls everything over to Mississippi 8. So will events like that be missed?
I don't know that it's a Mississippi 8.
It wouldn't be, but that's what I'm saying. Like when you go into it used to be you could see everything like activity. It wasn't just sports related
Huh.
in our calendar. Now it looks like it's just Mississippi 8, so it pulls us right over, and I'm like, what? Like, I think there's an event maybe happening this Friday at the high school.
Oh, you didn't say.
I don't, Stephanie, do you know how those calendars are linked? Oh, the R school.
Yeah, if you go into like Big Lake and then you go to the activities calendar, see what's, like, what all events are happening in Big Lake, it pulls you. Yeah, so the only thing you see is Mississippi 8 though, and isn't there some that aren't?
So anything that's school related would be not under that, but embedded into our website that our other secretaries have access to, or they
Yeah.
have information for that. So,
High school just has conferences that night is the only thing they've got on there so far, but I know their one act play is that evening
Yep.
too.
Yep. Their public performance and the whole thing, right? It's the whole thing. So, yes, it's a good night. I'll get you more information and the details and whatnot, but I just saw that it's on my calendar. I didn't want to miss it. It was a great night last year.
Yeah, I
Um,
liked going last year.
Yes. February 14th through the 17th is President's Day, but then there's also one additional PD day, February 14th. That's the Friday. So there's no school for our students then. Also, February 19th, Tanya, Ashley, and Derek. Policy Committee, start getting excited right now. It's going to be great. And then February 26th, which is a Wednesday, regular board meeting. So I was a little off today, I'm not going to lie.
So off
Wednesday,
today.
just a
I
little
checked my
bit off.
calendar like 4 times. I went back and looked at board book multiple times. I'm like,
Minda said, is it at 6:30? Just making sure. It's Wednesday, right? It's 6:30.
Yet, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's so weird.
So, and I know we were talking about calendars and things, and I said this at the city thing, I say it at the city meeting, and I say it at every chamber event. This is the kind of year when we have things going on every night, one way, shape, or form. You heard noises, which was fun noises down here. So there's always something going on. If you're ever bored, or if you hear a neighbor that says it's so boring, no, come up to the school, check it out. Our students are so proud of what they do, what they put on the court, what they put on the floor, what they put on the stage. They're really proud of what they do, and they love seeing people come. So please, spread the word. And if anybody's listening to the recording, spread the word. So, yeah, we're really proud of what we do here. So that concludes my report, unless, of course, there's questions. Yes, Angie. Okay.
So I would say on average, enrollment at Wright Tech's about 700.
On average.
Yeah, so like, it looks like your semester, KISS, your semester 1, 725, semester 2, 681, so that is average.
Oh, for total enrollment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, total, yeah.
That's
It
not
looks like
Big Lake.
all the districts.
Okay, but that's not Big Lake.
That's not just Big Lake.
No.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, I have Big Lake here.
That's for, I think, Ray Academy.
So 40?
40?
That's probably about right.
40, yeah, it looks
That
like
seems
you're
low.
41, semester 1, 40, semester 2. Yeah, so
Oh, yeah, so
total
it's
is
each semester.
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
700.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anything else for Tim? Okay, I'm going to announce our session, our closed session for negotiating strategies. The meeting will be closed as permitted by Minnesota Statute Section 13D.03 to discuss Big Lake Schools' labor negotiation strategy. The closed meeting will commence in 5 minutes at, we'll just say, at 7:30 in the Middle School Student Center. I will make a motion to adjourn the regular board meeting. Second by Nelson. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned.